George Michael. He defined an era.
10 out of 10.
Pop superstar.
An amazingly good pop songwriter.
And he took on the industry. One of the greatest male pop voices ever.
A great singer.
And I am going to make sure that George Michael goes into the platinum vault.
Welcome to the Guardians of the Vinyl Vault. 4 old friends, 1 sacred vault, and a lineup of artists awaiting judgment.
Welcome back to the Guardians of the Vinyl Vault. On this episode, Gareth Neal is going to be suggesting one artist that we put into the vault. Gareth, who is your artist today?
Rodney, it's George Michael. So this, and I've gone all out for it. Tonight, you notice all the singles in the back, the pictures. I've been rummaging them, getting them out. And I am going to make sure that George Michael goes into the platinum vault tonight.
Yeah, and I think we know that you're going to get at least one other vote.
We know.
And once he starts speaking, we'll actually be able to see what his background is. Over to you, Richard.
Yeah. And there is a secret George Michael follower, and he'll come out very soon as well. Okay, let me just take it with George Michael. He not only did it once, he did it twice. He defined an era twice. One with Wham, then by himself as a solo artist. Most artists get one era. George Michael owned 2 distinct identities. Pop superstar with Wham, with Wake Me Up Before You Go, Freedom, then rockabilly, dance, etc. with Faith. Serious, introspective artist then with Praying with Time. So that was the first thing. He had 4 UK number 1s, and he was part of the group that was the first group to tour, first UK group to tour China. Then album greatness. And I'm going to start going into him as a solo artist. Album greatness. Faith, 1987. 25 million global sales. Won Album of the Year at the Grammys. Hits that we all know, such as Faith, Father Figure, One More Try. Then he moved on to Listen Without Prejudice. Released in 1990. What a show. And you'll actually see it behind Richard's head as well.
But on YouTube, Richard now needs to speak to see what a super fan Richard is. Richard, just tell us something there.
Well, if you didn't already know, that Gareth was one of my classmates at school, and it was probably me that introduced him to Wham.
You can see who's taking all the credit there. He's taking every single one. And do you know what this is, Rodney? This is the reunification of the Leather Boys.
This is it. And actually, Gareth, Stephen, can I test which one was George and which one was Andrew?
Well, I think they both have a different opinion about that.
I was definitely the George. I was the blonde.
You were, and he was definitely the Andrew Ridgely.
I don't like fun people to Andrew Ridgely. I don't want to be him. But anyway,
I'm quite happy. I'm quite happy to be the talented one. No, that's definitely for sure.
No. So let me go on to Listen Without Prejudice, showed you 1990. And it was a bold pivot by him away from fame. And it was critically revered, and it aged much better than Faith. And George loved this album. He's not just a single artist. He has 2 genuinely elite albums that will definitely appear in top 20s, top 30 of all greatest albums. But then let's go into songwriting and vocal tier. He was elite. George Michael wasn't just a performer. He wrote his own material, produced much of it, and was one of the greatest male pop voices ever. Put him in a bracket with Prince, Stevie Wonder, those type of people. He is in true platinum company. Longevity and reinvention, which is obviously a big factor for me. I don't like these people who come in and they just stick with a decade or in a certain year period. In the 80s, he was a pop icon. In the 90s, he was a mature, political, introspective artist. In the 2000s, he was still culturally relevant with Outside, Amazing. He didn't fade, he evolved. But he had an icon status way above music. Style, image, controversy. Remember the I Want Your Sex video with Kathy Leung, where we all sat there going, oh no, hope our parents are not watching it. Freedom of expression. He took on the media and he took on the industry. He battled Sony to own his own material. the LGBTQ and cultural icon before it was widely accepted. He stands for something bigger than music. But let's get to the Goosebumps test. And I don't think we've done the Goosebumps test before. Whenever I hear songs such as Careless Whisper, A Different Corner, Jesus to a Child, that's when the goosebumps appear. The little hairs on body. But then
I think it's important though, Gareth, just to give this context.
Yeah.
Those listeners who maybe are joining us for the first time need to know is the only other person that's given you goosebumps is Andrea Core.
Yeah, no, that's not. I know you boys said it, but it's not true. Let me get back to it.
You interrupted when his hairs on his arms were getting erect.
Exactly.
Oh, he was. Hopefully, just the hairs on his arm. Carry on, Gareth.
Right. Then we'll go on to the greatest ever Christmas single. Last Christmas, Goosebumps moment. So let's look at this. Get drilled down in this here and why George Michael gets to the platinum vault. 2 Grammys, 3 Brit Awards, MTV, Ivor Novello, multiple songwriting awards. Inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Global records sold 120 million. UK number 1 single, 7 solo, 4 with Wham. US Billboard number 1s, 10. UK top 10 singles, above 24. Years active at the top level, 20 plus. They're all stats that take George Michael straight rocketing into platinum vault. And I defy you or our listeners to come back and tell us why he doesn't rocket into the platinum vault.
Gosh.
Quite the statement there, Rodney. Would you like to take us forward with that discussion?
Well, I was very conscious today when I was thinking about this that I haven't actually challenged too many entries into the upper echelons of the vinyl vault.
Don't be starting.
Well, and actually, when I look at legacy, because I think legacy is part of it, right? And I look at the people that he influenced, and look at the work that he did, and I look at the people he worked with, then I have to say, I may not use the same language as Gareth, and I may never have been a leather boy, but I don't know about you, Stephen, but I think he ticks a lot of boxes, absolutely a lot. And I think for me, the thing about him was that he may have started as somebody who was there for his looks as well as the singing. He could always sing.
Oh,
he developed that talent into songwriting and into musical direction, if you like, and his work, the work that he did as a solo artist, he went in a very different direction, and he never used, I think, his fame to sell himself. I think it was his music that sold himself. So you're hoping I'll just be dazed and confused by seeing these albums.
This doesn't work on YouTube, by the way, Gareth. Gareth, for those of you that are watching the YouTube channel, he can't actually. Nobody can actually see the fact that he's now produced about 37 covers of Wham singles.
But Stephen, he's bought all those.
Of course, you can see. No, yes. I think what he was referring to is for people listening on a podcast.
But I need to be talking, don't I?
No, I know. I'm referring to YouTube video for 2 reasons. The YouTube video only picks up the person that's speaking at the time, and secondly, it's me that edits it.
Yeah. So actually, can I show you? I got a very nice gift this week from a friend who used to run a mobile disco, and he says, "Gareth, here's a lot of singles."
Oh my God.
From it. And he went along, and there's the Aretha Franklin, George Michael.
Oh, yes.
It might have that again soon.
I have that. Look at my finger now. I'm actually pointing to the 12-inch version of that, which has got just some longer remixes on it.
Let me show you some more.
That's not the first time he's pointed and went.
Okay, steady.
Then I'm going to show you now, I'm Your Man, the single.
Now, let me interrupt you there. I remember at the school disco dancing to I'm Your Man and getting the tambourines bit just right.
Yeah, Stephen, do you remember that? I remember that very well as well.
I
can remember these two doing it. I can remember these two when they were,
if you're gonna do it right.
Do you remember the there was a phase in the mid-late 80s of suede pixie boots with flurry bits on them. Gareth was big into that.
I know I did not.
Gareth was also. I'll tell you another thing that
you tucked in your jeans that were slightly
right.
Yeah.
I tell you two other things Gareth was big into: Pebble Dash jeans and mullets. Gareth was very much into Pebble Dash jeans and mullets.
Sorry, let me show you two other ones. Careless Whisper single.
Yeah.
And then the Freedom one.
Yeah.
And
very good.
And then as well, don't forget George Michael made two other people very successful. Pepsi and Shirley. Sorry, Rodney Black.
I feel I need to take the listeners back to where it started, because and where I got into George Michael, which of course was with Wham. And when I was at school with you guys, that to me was, as a teenager, was incredibly exciting to listen to that type of music. Songs like Club Tropicana, Wham Rap, Freedom 19, stuff like that. Sorry, Freedom at the time. And to me, seeing that when he first released his first solo single, by the way, which in this country was Careless Whisper.
Yeah.
Even though he credited Andrew Ridgeley as a co-writer, I think that was more of a friendship thing. He may have, but in this country, it actually was released as a solo single, and that was the start. That was the seed. And then, of course, we got the final concert at Wembley. The final in, I think it was 87.
Rodney, I don't know whether this is the moment where when you're editing the audio podcast, it might be a good idea to put some nice sad music underneath it, because it's the final concert.
Melancholy.
It's dreadful. It's dreadful.
And there's how good Richard is. He was right. Written by George Michael and Andrew Ridgeley in 1981.
I think, as we all know.
However, they were even though they were still together as Wham at that point, he released it as a solo single, and we all remember the video. The video is iconic. Standing in that crisp suit, holding onto those ropes. When you see flashbacks with him on a girl on a boat, and obviously it's a broken up relationship, and he has regrets. Oh God, I love that. That is still one of my favorite songs. One of my favorite songs ever. That is
Stephen. There seems to be a link between these two and the artist. Like, they always had boats. That's because of their middle class background. That we were there with artists that were on mopeds, maybe just a tricycle.
I know.
You see, the important thing is, me and Gareth could picture ourselves on that yacht, and we would not look out of place. You two guys would have been down below.
Richard, you and to a slightly lesser extent, Andrew, or should I say Gareth, had the financial wherewithal to do that. But yes, Rodney and I were more the scruffs.
Yes,
we wouldn't have had it. I would like to make a point at this stage, and that is the following.
You're a closet fan.
George Michael did write some absolute stinkers.
Oh.
No, I give you three of the biggest stinkers in my view of all.
Oh, I know what's coming.
Wham Rap.
I said, get on down. I said, get
on down.
Yeah,
it was. You've got some street credibility.
All right,
do that again, and I will explain why it was awful. Yeah, street credibility.
Yeah,
it doesn't work, does it? It does not work as a rap.
We hadn't even heard a rap song at that point, so he was ahead of his time.
True.
Well, yeah, in the sense that you still hadn't heard a rap song after you'd heard Wham Rap, because it was dreadful. Father Figure.
Oh,
Oh,
don't
it's been
you?
covered so many times. Am I right in saying that Taylor Swift covered Father Figure?
I was going to, yes, or is doing, yeah.
I think she's done it.
Well, there we go. So father figure, dross and nonsense.
No,
Absolute rubbish.
no.
Ooh, we'll get some comments on that.
But, it's a big but, and I cannot lie. The biggest, absolute stinker of them all is, and I quote from Gareth, the best Christmas song of all, which is in fact not a Christmas song at all. Last Christmas. Now, I know we've had this discussion before, but I will point out that Last Christmas is not, in fact, a Christmas song at all. He simply introduced the word Christmas into the lyrics of the song, because the song works even better if you include the word Wednesday or Thursday or Tuesday or Monday.
No, I'm sorry.
Anyway, you are a secret George Michael fan. And in previous episodes of our radio show, you have said you like George Michael, which was the biggest surprise ever for me. So tell me your positives on it.
I was hoping to keep that to myself for the
and
I was hoping to keep that to myself while I sort of took the what out of use too.
No.
Okay, you've invited me to. You have invited me to. So okay, here comes perhaps a more honest view. He did write some stinkers. He did. And he was also a bit too keen in the old spliff and a bit too disrespectful of high street photo outlets. When it comes to
Happy
Snaps. Yeah.
We can't completely erase the issues he had in his personal life, and don't forget, he was kind of outed. He didn't, with it regarding his sexuality. It came regarding an incident in a park in Los Angeles. So, which of course then, with his brilliant personality, made a fantastic video about. I think it was outside,
yeah.
Which then he does have that. Okay, he said, "Okay, hands up, you've got me," but then turned it around.
Or did you ever see where he also did that with James Corden and Comic Relief?
Yes.
So
what was sense of humor?
What was even funnier, and perhaps particularly if Americans haven't seen it, and they may not have done because it's a little bit more niche from Britain. He did a cameo on a Ricky Gervais series called Afterlife, where he played himself, but he played himself cottaging in a park, and it was absolutely hilarious. It was
he had good timing,
really funny,
and incredibly charitable individual.
Yes,
completely.
Yeah,
and I guess just
so music-wise, Stephen, did he do it for you?
He did.
Oh, I knew it.
However, actually, the voice of reason here, in some respects, is.
It was my turn, Gareth.
It is his turn.
And you're George to your Andrew's interrupting me. I mean,
he'll go on forever here.
Well,
go.
He did invite me. I would say, and I will say this most sincerely, folks, there is not a British or a European songwriter in the last 40 years who has written and performed in terms of quantity and quality the number of top pop tunes that George Michael has written. I think he's in the same argument as perhaps three other British songwriters, and they would be Paul Heaton, Paul Weller, and Adele. In terms of pop tune writing, yes, he had his stinkers, but he had some absolute pearlers. Gareth's mentioned many of them before, but I'll just repeat things like Club Tropicana. I mean, that's just I nearly swore there, but I stopped myself, Rodney, so you don't need to edit that. YouTube don't really care that much about it. He wrote some absolute tunes. Club Tropicana is just, it's funny. And it's a great tune. Wake Me Up Before You Go, get you on the dance floor. Don't think too much about it. It's a great pop tune. Freedom. Freedom is a great pop tune.
He wouldn't have said this at school, would he, Gareth? He wouldn't have been this complimentary in 1985 or 80.
Well,
don't forget Careless Whisper to get us up on the dance floor. It was always a belter. We were straight up there.
Unlike you and Gareth, I had a reputation to uphold, so therefore I had to take care of myself. And when he got a little bit older and a little bit mature, he wrote some absolute classics. No more finer than the pretty much maybe not the whole of, but pretty much near enough the whole of the album Older, and the exquisite Fast Love, which has, for my money, probably the cleverest, most iconic, cool, sexy, and knowing lyric of any pop song in the last 25, 30 years. So why don't we make a little room in my BMW, babe? Searching for some peace of mind. I'll help you find it. Now that's just a brilliant lyric. That's just a fantastic lyric. And another thing was, he was a principled man. He spoke up for his beliefs. He was quite left wing in his politics. In fact, he was one would suggest very left wing in his politics, which kind of went against his image in the mid late 80s of Thatcherite Britain. He maybe to the naked eye appeared a little bit more Thatcherite, a little bit more yuppie, but that certainly wasn't his beliefs. He spoke up for LGBTQ plus ideas. He didn't hide away his views, and absolutely you've got to applaud him for that. All round, no, he wasn't my quintessential cup of tea, but he was an amazingly good pop song writer, pop song performer, all round.
Okay.
He's no Morrissey, but he's damn close.
However, I have to say, Gareth, though, we've spoken about this before, is that I believe actually his career did slightly wane towards the end. The actual quality was slightly stretched towards the end. Maybe that was because of his personal issues. And even albums like Faith, to me, are not 10 out of 10. I love the main songs on Faith, but in our other show, which we've gone through in more depth, I don't think it's the perfect album, but it has some absolute humdingers, including the title track, of course, Faith. Listen Without Prejudice is probably his most mature album, as in, some of the songs, Waiting for That Day, for example, and the duet with Paul McCartney.
I think you're making an excellent point, Richard, but I'd like to not disagree with you, but maybe put a different point of view about it. And that was, and this is one of the things I really liked about him. Yes, you're right in the sense that his later career was a bit more sporadic. It was a little bit less successful from a commercial point of view. But did he care? I don't think he did, because I think he did what he wanted to do. He did it when and how he wanted, and you've got to applaud that.
And we must admit, and don't forget, I saw him twice live. I saw the Faith tour, and then I saw one of his solo tours in the 90s. And what we haven't spoke about is the absolute fantastic live voice he had. It was one of those voices which were, like Rodney's seen a lot of great artists that. Yes, he sang it as good as you heard it on the record, but maybe changed it slightly. But it was so pure; it was just beautiful.
I think the mark of George Michael is the company that he kept and the artists that allowed him to collaborate with them. And when you think he sang as Freddie Mercury, he sang a really hard Queen song, and he belted it out, and he
find me somebody to
love, and the way that the chant that came up, find me somebody to love. Only a great singer could actually take that on, because Freddie Mercury nailed that, and he did it. He absolutely did it.
That's a great point, Rodney, because that concert, there was lots of great artists covering Queen on that, and yet he was the one people were talking about.
Absolutely.
And again, his collaborations with Elton John, of course.
Oh yeah, of course.
That's my point. When you
Don't Let the Sun Go Down on Me. Fantastic.
And Aretha Franklin. I mean, somebody who was much older than him, but he matched her for her character and her voice, and she wanted to work with him. So I think you look at that, and you think there aren't many, let's call them pop stars today, that people of a different generation would be happy to actually work with.
Mary J. Blige.
Mary J. Blige, yeah.
Great song.
Or the backing vocals on Nikita, which you can actually clearly mix.
The Elton John song.
Elton John song, yeah. He's the backing vocals on that.
That's a good point.
But one big thing I have to say before we start to go to the vote is, would you believe of all the concerts I have seen, I have never seen George Michael.
Yeah, well, that's
such a shame.
My biggest regret ever.
Did you ever?
Well, I've got some good news for you, Gareth, because during the research for this program, much like the epic Elvis film that they've released recently, where there was some lost footage of the Vegas shows, they have unearthed lost footage of that Faith tour that I went to in 1988. I saw him at the NEC in Birmingham. And later on in this year, this is 2026, by the way, we're talking in, they are going to be releasing the cinema in 35mm. They've found lost footage of that concert in Paris of that tour. And that not only are they going to show that at cinemas, remastered, cleaned up, they're also going to release an album of that concert and of that tour.
Good.
So we'll have another album with some unearthed tracks from that tour. So that's really exciting.
And of course, if they ever dramatise the story of George Michael and Wham, then both you, Richard, and you, Gareth, would be shoo-ins for the part of both Andrew Ridgeley and George Michael.
Right, guys, let's take it to the vote.
Well, just before we begin, just before we do that, sorry, I'd like to add something else. We talked there about collaborations that he did with, I think the people we named could generally be considered more mainstream pop artists. But it's also important to perhaps highlight the fact that George Michael wasn't restricted in his both musical tastes and inspirations. In fact, and Richard and I have talked about this before, there's been times in interviews where he admired and spoke about his admiration for bands like New Order. He, I don't think he was friends with Morrissey, but he certainly shared a similar musical outlook in terms of testing the mainstream. And one of the things that I've viewed several times is shortly before he passed away, and let's not overlook the fact that he died of way too young. But I don't know how often he did it, but he covered "Fear" by Ian Brown, FEAR,
right,
in concert extremely well. Now, "Fear" is a big track by Ian Brown, formerly of the Stone Roses. You've got the fear, but he covered it, and he clearly admired the work of less mainstream, less poppy.
Well, I think
nonetheless crucial British artists.
Well, we often forget, but also Gareth, he released that Killer, the Adamski song. But what was really good about George Michael, really good. He, on his B-sides, he often put lovely, great songs like Stevie Wonder songs on the B-sides of his singles. So when you got a single, often there's absolute rubbish or an instrumental on B-sides, but you often got a real gem on the B-sides of, like, it would be like a Stevie Wonder or classic soul song that people hadn't heard of before, but he made his own. Well, fantastic.
The best duet that he ever did, most people will not know about, and that was a duet with a guy called Toby Burke. Waltz Away Dreaming. It is a fabulous song. Steve, we need to go. We probably need to go to the vote.
Can I just?
Well, no. Let's just very quickly go on, Rodney. Sorry.
I was going to say, given Gareth and Richard, you are super fans of Wham and George Michael. Your kids, have they discovered either entity yet?
No, not George Michael for me. Now they've discovered Duran Duran and Pet Shop Boys and all that 80s era, even ABC, but not George Michael. So it's a good question, Rodney.
Because
I'm stunned. I'm absolutely stunned that somebody in the postmodern iconic era has not covered "Wake Me Up Before You Go, I'm not planning on going solo," because that's just I mean, obviously sung in tune.
Stephen
is just a terrific pop song. That's a great pop song.
Terribly sang by you, by the way.
I completely agree.
Even if you got yourself a cross earring, right, and maybe just grew yourself a little bit more, went on a tan, you could almost do that as a sort of a tribute act.
The George and Andre roles have already been taken in the Guardians of the Final Vault.
It does tickle me though that he's all this, but if we'd asked him at school, he would have taken the mick out of us big style.
Totally.
So now he's coming out saying all these
lovely
things.
The closet fan.
Richard,
definitely.
Some people gather wisdom in their older age, and some some don't. But there we go.
Right, let's go to the vote. For me,
the big vote.
This is the vote now to see whether this gets into the vault in Platinum, Club Lounge, or asked to leave and never get into it. So for me, Platinum. Richard.
George Michael, we couldn't be taken seriously if you're talking about voice, writing skills, production, catalogue, live concerts, and his reputation around the globe. It's got to be Platinum.
Stephen.
Oh, it's Platinum all the way. Absolutely Platinum all the way. As I said, when I was persuaded to give my positive opinion, which wasn't difficult because I have a very positive opinion of George Michael. He wrote a few stinkers, but everybody's entitled to make a few mistakes throughout their life. But on the whole, there is very few, if any, British, European songwriters, pop performers of the last 40 years that even touch the level of superb pop greatness that is George Michael.
And on to our final one, Rodney.
I have been looking for the opportunity not to put somebody at the top level of vault, and I've been thinking I'm going too easy on them. And I thought it'll be a Gareth or a Richard pick that'll find it easier for me to say, nah, not even that, you're at the club level, you're just not getting into the vault. Unfortunately, it can't be George Michael. It just can't, because the quality of the man, the quality of the singer, the story and the journey and the company he kept just means that he's got to go in at Platinum level.
Yeah.
And what I'd like everybody to do, for the benefit of my editing of the video, we have a little rage jingle to play, and we've not really had the opportunity to do that. So I'd like everybody to look to the sky with their eyes and count to 3 or 4 and say nothing, and then I can edit Reg's jingle. Are you ready? Here we go.
Congratulations! You have been awarded Platinum level.
That'll do. Carry on.
Okay, if you want, we'll put a wee poll on our Instagram account, the Vinyl Vault 19, and our Blue Sky account, the Vinyl Vault.
But particularly important, Gareth, I would also like to encourage people to comment below on the YouTube video. Please do. What are your thoughts about George Michael? Do you think he should get into the platinum level of the Club Lounge of the Vinyl Vault? And also, please like, comment, and subscribe.
That's it. We'll be back again soon. Take care.